We good?
I hope so.
All right, let's go. Hey, welcome to Granblue Radio. This is episode 350. Look, doesn't matter. This is episode Relink number 1. We've
Have
been
a reeling
waiting.
day, everybody.
Happy Relink Day for all who celebrate. It's us. We celebrate. So yeah, this is Vibrating Sheep. Will join me and joining me today. We got DJ and
Yep.
yeah, I'm 30 hours into Relink at this point. You're,
I'm
I
so
think,
I'm like I'm more than you, but only
yeah.
by a little bit at that point.
Okay. I know.
Although I have like
The
5 characters at level 100 right now.
yeah. The thing is, you've been more efficient, and I've been like goofing around a lot more. I spent a lot of time in the weeds of the Fate episodes, and if you are stuck playing a character you don't know very well solo, it takes a while. So anyway, all right. We've got things that we got to talk about in Granblue Fantasy proper, though. So let's get to it, shall we?
Let's get to it.
All right, so we have ourselves an event character, two event characters. And I say that as in characters who are related to the current event and not characters who are given out for free in the event.
I,
Um,
I I I like how Yuri is here. Oh wait, it's Juri now.
yeah, they misspelled it. Uh, yeah, they fixed it.
Yeah, as well. To
It's
be fair, the Japanese says Yuri.
and I mean, they're both the same name, just in different languages. I believe Yuri with a J is German. I can't remember. Anyway, somewhere in the like Germanic Slavic areas. All right, so anyway, we've got our boy. He's in a suit now. He's in a
He's cleaned up.
snazzy vest.
He's no longer tied to Fair directly.
Yeah, who knew that Yuri would actually get a solo SSR before Farah did? Um, then again, Fukuhara has actually said before that Yuri holds a special place in his heart because Blade of the Young Champion was an event that I mean you were at. I don't remember if you were at that AX panel.
I wasn't because I got cut off.
That's right. Fukuhara said that Blade of the Young Champion was an event that the writer basically staked his job on making a success. It's like because the early year of Granblue Fantasy has very very rough sketches of event stories. Like they have some bad stuff in there, and
What do you
so
mean you didn't like Sturm and Drang being Team Rocket
I
and
was
messing with the
thinking
Phoenix?
thinking more about how like they admit it's like we went a little too far with what happened to Sarah in the first Sarah one. Anyway, so we get ourselves Yuri, and he's a comedian now. And what do comedians
And
do in Japan?
you have a partner with you.
Yeah, and so basically this is like the next evolution of the Summer Grea design. So this one we start with improv duo. Form an improv duo with an ally. Can only form a duo with one ally at a time. And after 3 turns, you get assassin. So three, but the buff itself lasts 4 turns.
Can't extend it, so you can't use Fiora with it.
hmm Um, and then the effect is once again very similar to Summer Grea. You get whoever Yuri is partnered with can get the effects from Yuri's charge attack, Yuri skills, and Yuri support skills. So that means when you hit stage presence over here, both Yuri and the partner get Veil. Both Yuri and the partner get Dispel Cancel and Uplift, which is 3 turns of the standard 10%, I believe. Um, so then, those are actually the only buffs. The other one is a Dispel.
And you get double strike if you remove a buff.
Yeah, yeah. Um, does this part get copied? I can't remember. Anyway, let's find out. Yuri numbers. Skill 3. Crit damage is 50k on
The supplemental damage, yeah.
supplemental. Yeah. All
Considering
right.
that if Yuri CAs, you get Chaser to go with it.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, so while what Improv Duo actually does for you, so Yuri and the person always triple attack. There's a boost to crit. The boost to crit is 100% chance of 30% damage. The important part of this is that it's a 100% chance to get the 50k supplemental right there. When the ally attacks, Yuri does a nuke. So, this can take the spot of like Erica, for example. So you just, instead of attacking out of turn, it's just attacking at all, and then Yuri does a nuke. And then the mood changer effect. And the mood changer effect is, um, is it just the marker of,
It has attack and multi-attack rate lower, can't be removed, two
okay,
turn, local debuff.
got it. Uh, and then yeah, so because it is also the marker for salted wounds, because that's what seriously serious refers to. So when he does skill damage with quick quip over here, or when just the ally attacks, then he doesn't consume his own assassin, which is important. And then he actually has the Cassius thing, where when the opponent uses any kind of special attack, he gets his dispel back.
That's really important. It helps a lot, especially since Cassius is only allowed a limited amount of time for water.
Hmm. Um, and yeah, so then he gives himself double strike when that happens. It's a little strong, a little strong.
Well, it depends on the boss. Some
Yeah,
bosses don't buff themselves; they
this is
just hurt
true.
you.
This is true. Um, but yeah, uh, that's pretty much the whole thing. And as we've mentioned, there's a bunch of things that you can combo with. Like, I've seen this character essentially described as free to play, um, holiday Katura, not free to play. Sorry, available all year. Summer holiday Katura. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. There's just a lot of really strong things about it, and you buff up the usually the main character, and yeah, you go nuts.
The only issues I have with it is that he doesn't cheat his cooldowns other than quick whip.
Yeah,
So you have 3 turns where you're not improving together.
that's true. I mean, that is there is no cooldown reduction anywhere other than quick quip, and so basically, so Summer Grea can do this permanently,
She
and
puts it on you permanently, and then 5 turns later, you can decide to put it on someone else
yeah,
if she
and
wants, or you just leave it there.
or you can just leave it there. This one is it's a little clicky, but it's still very strong, and so um, yeah, I mean, that's that's the book on this. It's a very open book. You know exactly what you're trying to do with this character. You're trying to supercharge one other person, and then in the meantime, you also get a lot of utility off of the dispel reset. Very strong. Anything else, or should we just move on?
That's about it.
Yeah, pretty simple thing here. Then heard you talking about Robertina and looping stuff with her. So
Yeah, the only issue is that she doesn't do an attack for her CA, so she does not join a chain burst. Is the only issue.
oh shoot, so she's the old harp character design, or I mean, Diantha
I mean,
still does
Diablo
that.
still does that.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So she has a heal. She gives dispel cancel on her CA, and she extends Canto Azuro. I believe this is actually supposed to be 2 turns. Um,
It is by, let's see here. It is by 2 turns.
yeah, it's supposed to be by 2 turns. It is
I'll let you know if you're
not written out.
looping, you don't need that. It
Right,
could be
but
1 turn and it'd be still good.
however, it is better to have it as 2 turns, and so this is a typo in the English version. The Japanese version does say two. And then if you have tuning at 10, then your team gets armor, and the armor value is listed as
30%.
30%. And it's four
It lasts for
turns.
3 turns afterwards, so it's
Yeah,
pretty good.
that is pretty good.
And it's not hard for her to get to tuning 10. She's also like the only character outside of Wind that does tuning.
Well, Now that they've taken the lid off of the
Oh,
five
excuse me,
orchestra
Bale does it
characters,
too. I'm sorry.
yeah, Light Bale. Fair enough.
Nope, Earth Bale.
Oh, I was gonna say it's like, wait, Light Bale? But so the thing about taking the lid off of the orchestra characters means that, a lot of them do have tuning as a thing that they can do, so we'll see more
Yeah,
of it.
we just gonna have to change which elements are which.
Hmm.
Because this one was wind before, and now she
Now she's
is
light.
light.
Yeah. All right, so, the whole thing about this is that you want to have Il Canto Azzurro on for as long as you can. And so this is can't normal attack, 80% damage reduction, sharp boost to hostility, and then everybody gets skill up, and she gets Bodhisattva. So she's basically on. She's a she's a no damage version of Earth Satyr, right?
Yep. Except our Satyr increases CA damage. She increases skill.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes up to 50% skill damage and 30% still skill damage cap. That's pretty good.
Um, Not just that, but we have all of these. When at the end of the turn, while Il Canto Zero is in effect, the number one she always gets a tune level, and then buffs to light allies based on the number of turns that this has been in effect. And so you were saying that like she gives skill specs via the normal
Oh,
part of Il Canto Zero here, and then off of Graceful Sonata, I'm looking at the numbers where it's like the first turn she gives. Um,
30% normal attack. Second turn's 30% defense up.
mhm.
Next turn, 20% DA, 10% TA, 4%, 100% crit for 20% hits, and then past 5 turns, 10% damage cap up.
Yeah, so it's the 5 turn part where that's the real payoff because like if you want team wide defense, then you can get better than 30% available. Like Zoe will do it.
It's only
But
available on turn 2.
yeah. Um, so then you've got, let's see here. So you've got her skill nuke here. It's only one hit. Okay, got it.
But it gives you 20% meter.
To everybody. Oh, hit number based on tuning to the maximum of 6. So is it every, let's see here. So it is up to 6 hits. It does, let's see here, 180 seconds of stacking debuff resist down.
But it's going off every turn, so it's gonna keep going
Hmm. Okay,
until
so
like misses too often, I guess.
yeah, so every turn you're getting a 20% uplift with her existing. What's the number from Earth Satyr again? How much does Earth Satyr give you for continuing her thing? Do, 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 do. Does she not give me? No, it's off of her CA. She gives 15. That's right.
One also based on your tuning,
Hmm.
your not earth damage,
Your
your
light
skill
damage.
damage gets supplemented for
There it is.
skills.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, it's like takes effect even when Robertina is a sub ally. It's like, we'll take that.
You could be in a raid with a player who's playing harps.
You could also be playing. Is it Elysian only? Because I don't think Rising Force got tuning, did
It's
they?
a legion,
It's Elysian. Yeah.
and it's a very good luck trying to get those stacks.
Yeah, that's not happening.
With her, you get those stacks very well actually. And you know what?
Hmm.
Elysian has a skill where you do more damage you do more hits according to how much tuning.
Yeah, they're trying. They're trying to bring Elysian back, but yeah, as it is though, this character is a very solid support character. Like we've compared her to some very, very strong other characters, Diantha and what is it? Diantha and Earth Satyr, like who are just extremely strong supports in their element.
Yeah, one of the things you can do is put her in the last slot of your light CA team
Hmm.
because she actually you don't even need you don't have to really care about her slot, but you need someone who has better meter building at the very beginning.
Hmm.
And because she gives 20 meter at the end of turn, that makes up for, not using Uni, for example, because
Hmm.
Uni does 10 on CA and then 10 after
Right,
on the next turn. The difference is that Uni actually does damage, so she counts as a chain burst, so
right.
she's more reliable.
But like it's still a decent comparison to a grand character.
Oh,
So,
we didn't even talk about the skill 3. Skill 3 is amazing.
all right. So how strong is the debuff resist up on this thing?
It's
It's
100%.
50. It says 50.
100% if you have El Cantazo up.
Ah, boost to specs. I understand. So boost to
Yeah,
specs if
also it
it's up,
gives
which is
damage
always
to
up. Okay.
mitigate
Damage mitigation is 3,000.
for 3 turns.
Yeah, the part where it lasts 3 turns is very strong. Yeah, so it's like in chat, it's like even though she doesn't decrease Cosmos's cooldowns every turn like Uni does, it's still very strong in conjunction with someone like Cosmos. Because just feeding Cosmos meter is a very, very strong thing.
Air Cosmos here's 20 meter every turn.
Yeah?
You
Thank
only
you, my
need CA,
child.
you also only need CA once in order to keep looping the
Alright,
skill.
DJ, this is the real hard hitting question here. Now that Robertina's out of the out of SR jail, which um which orchestra character are you asking for next?
Why are you even asking me this? You know the answer. It's Nove.
Because Kiono is also in there.
Yeah,
She's
but she's not Nove.
because Cecile is a strong candidate. I'm just saying. And I know a lot of people who would say Augusta instead, but they're not us. So I would also say Nove. We are of one mind on this one, but still, after that one, I'm hoping for Cecile. That'll be fun. But more harp characters, more strong support characters. It's very
He
cool.
can soon play all hard teams and everything other than wind.
How is
However,
light
Wind's
harp
harp
right
team is
now?
really good.
Okay, hold on.
It has Mugen.
Utsusemi.
Yeah,
Utsusemi
Usasevi's
does
actually
count.
really
She's
good.
actually really good. I'm not. I'm laughing largely because I forgot that she's harp. It's one of those things that'll happen. It's like, oh yeah, that's right. She's a
She tells a story.
she's an entertainer. It's just that I think of her as gun dagger and not harp dagger because of her class theming.
And we got the
Um,
dagger at least.
is there an Elta SSR that is light? No, it's an SR for Elta that is light. Elta's still in jail. Huh. All right. Well, anyway, we'll keep going with what we were doing. So those are the two new characters. Pretty cool, but they're very like they're taking it a little light in terms of just releases, like two non-limited releases, because we've got anniversary stuff coming, and they're
That's gonna
gonna
be a
come
fun
for
one.
us.
I'm poor right now.
They're gonna come for us, buddy. we
I am
are we,
poor. I literally went through all of Side Stories and Princess Connect because I was poor in that game too.
yeah. Reza reminds us that because of the drums, um, Mahira in the holiday form is also a harp character. So yeah, it's still hard to
Yeah,
assemble
but here are like skill damage.
It's true. It is true. I just don't have that character because it's a very busy time every time Christmas comes. All right, you ready to move on to Ultimate Masteries, the last batch?
Oh yeah, that's a thing that happened. I need to go find my list for that real quick.
All right, so let's go take a look at these, DJ. Um, so first up, we have Relic Buster. And sorry, it took me a second. This isn't Relic Buster. This is Cavalier. I put the freaking Rebelware on Cavalier instead of Relic Buster. That's so confusing. Let me put this back on Cavalier real quick. Okay,
I mean, Cavalier is one of the classes.
it is true, but I did want to start with Relic Buster. Unless you wanted to start on Cavalier.
You already had it on screen. Might as well just do Cavalier.
All right, back to Cavalier. There you are. So we were complaining about how Spear like keeps getting the short end of the stick with Cavalier.
Yeah, it turns out we'll still keep complaining.
Yeah. All right. So here's the three new things that Cavalier got. One of them splits between spear gun. One of them requires spear, and one of them requires gun. So let's start with the one that is split between spear and gun, and it is um, an assassin, 3 turns of supplement. No, not the supplements on the other one. It is 1 turn of assassin and a nuke.
According to this, it's one time on the wiki.
Yeah. Um,
Why?
it doesn't give you multi attack. The multi attack is on the other one. So on average, unless you are forcing your main character to triple attack via an external source or what is it, triple threat, the one that forces triple attack for 1 turn.
Yeah.
You'd rather have the gun one because it does a 6-hit nuke. It forces triple attack, and then it gives you supplement normal attack damage, which is like,
It forces triple attack for 3 turns.
yeah, and it gives you the supplement for 3 turns also.
Yeah, it's 50k, by the way.
It's so much better.
It's like infinitely better. Also, I like how the gun one is like, oh, it does 110k hit per turn per hit instead of the big 830, and it's like I can do way more with 6 hits.
Yeah, it's like, so gun cavalier once again the way to play here, unless you really 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 need. There's one specific thing I can think of, and that is if you want your Ramfaya to have assassin.
No.
That is the use case I can think of for going for spear over gun for this skill in particular, because Ramfaya forces triple attack on the MC.
It also forces triple attack, being a better character.
I understand. Let's go over to Field Commander because that's the good one. So Field Commander. So here's this is a buff to yourself, and then a buff to everyone else while you have that buff.
So one of the things that gun wanted to do is not be hit, and
Yes.
so it had hostility down in the first place. Now
hmm
it really doesn't want to be hit.
Yeah. So while you're a Field Commander, and this lasts 5 turns with a cooldown of 9, so pretty significant downtime, but pretty significant uptime also. Um, so while you're a Field Commander, if you didn't take damage that turn, you do a 3-hit nuke, and you do stackable attack down, defense down, debuff resistance down.
5% on the attack down, defense down, but it goes up to 40 like everything else.
hmm and then what everybody else gets while they're under command is they get boost to elemental attack based on what element you are,
30%.
multi attack, uh, crit, and then the all important one at the very end there, damage cap to everybody.
Yeah, that's the most important one.
and
This,
it's
this is what, and it's for 5 turns too.
and it's 15%. Like we saw at other places, it's usually 10%. This is 15. It's pretty significant. And then we have the sadness that is spear again, which
All
is
right, my favorite. I love also on a spear class. 80% elemental damage lowered. Which element? I don't actually know how this one works, by the way, but it lasts for 3 turns at least.
it is based on what your element is, so taken from superior element. So if you are earth, you will take less damage from water.
Okay.
It doesn't,
Debuff
yeah.
resists. Drain. And also, you can't CA.
For
Why? I don't
three
know.
for 3 turns, and so this is the significant thing here. So they've already done can't be removed on a lot of self imposed debuffs. This is the first one that says duration can't be cut.
And now I'm sad for future boss fights.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those things where it's like, oh, your punishment is not going to be lowered. Maybe they haven't done it yet, but
We'll see you in a couple weeks, Lucy.
yeah, we'll see you in 3 weeks, buddy. But yeah, um, if you're going to all sub as a spear class, may I recommend being a paladin?
Paladin.
Then you get element switch also with this whole thing.
You know what you also can do? You can also damage reduction.
Yeah, like
Instead of the 80% element lowered. It's element lowered too. That's the worst part.
yeah. All right, gun cavalier is what we're saying. Gun cavalier.
Nothing has changed.
Nothing changed. All right. From there we switch over to Relic Buster. Uh, Relic Buster actually did get something that is very well suited to long fights. So here we go. So the funny thing is that people kept pointing this out. All of these are also the skills of gun names for gun breakers in Final Fantasy XIV. The only difference is that it's brutal shell over in Final Fantasy XIV and not brutal cell.
because we use cells.
Yeah. So anyway, we already know that a bunch of people play Final Fantasy XIV in this business. Everybody plays Final Fantasy XIV. Um,
Joke's on you. I don't.
I know, but neither do I. But still, lightning shot. It's a nuke. It does the
3-hit
following
nuke.
things. It's 3 hits, yeah. It is elemental defense down and attack down, and they're stackable.
It doesn't use a machine cell.
Um, it does use a
Except
machine cell if you CA, and then it eats one, and then it activates. So if you're on like a Celine, for example, then you'll do the lightning shot. You will do the Celine nuke based on the number of cells you have left, which is, since you're using a Celine, usually all of them. Um, and then it eats one and does another nuke after that. So if you're playing CA style, especially gun relic buster, this is super strong. Like you'll be CAing a lot. Um, Next up, we have hypervelocity, which is uh, so it's a nuke. It eats every single one of your remaining machine cells, which is why it's important that it's red. Um, and then based on eating 1 to 5 machine cells, you get the following things in this order.
and lasts for 5 turns, by the way.
5 turns, which is, hey, the cooldown of augment cells, or whatever it is. I can't remember what the actual name of it is. 1 second.
Engage augments.
Engage augment. Thank you. Um, so it gives you crit. It gives you elemental attack of your elemental type. Uh, it gives you a boost to dodge, which is important when you're a relic buster. It gives you revitalize, which sometimes is important because you'll spend a lot of your time at full health because you have the cells. And then you also get damage reduction from superior element, which is important because as a relic buster you have lower natural defense. And then even though this thing has a cooldown of 10 turns, it just says when you take big damage, and the definition of big damage is usually around 25% of your health, which is what the engage augments is,
It is.
then it just ends its own cooldown. So when you normally, as a relic buster, will get 5 machine cells back because you've taken big damage, then this comes back too. So it is a good like emergency kind of thing of like, oh, I've taken a bunch of damage.
Let me get my dodge back up again.
Yeah, let me get dodge back up, and also damage reduction, and yeah, so that's a good one. And the last one made people think a lot because we've seen this exact effect before. It's on a character. It's on a very good character. Um, we have hello Pocket Michael. Here's Brutal Cell. Um, so it's a nuke to everybody. It does a buff removal, and it does a delay. And then you get cells when anybody of the same element as your MC uses a charge attack, and every 3 of them uh, get consumed at the end of turn in order to cast this. This is exactly Michael.
It is exactly Michael, and it's really good.
It's really good. Um, Relic Buster full auto can actually beat Belial now because this skill exists.
Yep, because you can just delay on like having a lot of CAs going off
Yes.
without taking a billion damage from Belial,
Yeah.
saying, "Oh, you hit a button that delayed me."
Yeah. And so, this kind of effect being available on Relic Buster is very strong. One of the few things that Relic Buster could have problems with was buffs on enemies. And you know what? This helps take care of them. And so, you've got a good number of long fight Relic Buster options now. So it's like, Tack Shield used to be our go-to, right, in Unite and Fight when we were Relic Busting.
Yeah,
Um, you can do, instead of Tack Shield, you can do Brutal Cell. And instead of, if the debuffs aren't something that you're scared of, and you don't need to think about the shield and armor, then you'll use Brutal Cell, and you now have the option of Dispel instead of Clarity, or sorry, Veil. You can bring Hyper Velocity in order to help protect your fairly fragile MC in the case of, you know, when the shield is down. You can bring Lightning Shot just to do more damage when you're just playing normally. You know, like there's a lot of play here now, as opposed to just like Limit Burst only works either if you're taking exactly one turn or if you have a Celine, and there is no other reason to bring this. It's like,
And now Hypervelocity you take the place of Lip Burst if you want to last longer.
yeah. So there's a lot of flexibility to this class now, and I like that. It's not just a one-turn wonder or, you know, the tack shield and walk away for a while.
Or Blitz Raid.
Hmm. Also true. That was part of the one-hit wonder, the one-turn wonder package. So yeah, very strong option for Relic Buster. Let's see here. So we've got Yamato and Masquerade. Which one do you want to talk about?
Tato.
Yamato. All right. So
You
Yamato,
gotta get ready for Omioji soon.
yeah. So Yamato, you know, V2 specialized, and they got even more V2 specialized. Surprise. They took,
Yeah, nothing changed on that one.
yeah. The thing is that there's a like C Splitter you took because it's the get out of jail free card once, right? And then after that, you kind of took Watch and Moon just because it gives you a Yashiori and also because it's the in certain situations the whole dodge and all sub, not all sub, dodge and normal sub is a very powerful thing. But this was kind of unreliable in V2 a lot of the time.
Watch Moon, yeah, no.
Yeah,
I actually take White Hail Gust because Faded Chain Bar.
right. Um, and so now you have different options. So we've got Amino Totsuka, which is a big ass nuke. It's lower. It's a multi-attack rate debuff, which is stackable. It ends its cooldown when you Faded Chain, and
Yeah, so
it's
you pretend you're a dragon.
yeah, you pretend you're Fedial basically, and then when you have 8 Yashiori, and the activating that Faded Chain will give you 2 of them, then it happens twice.
Yep.
So that's one option you have now. Breath of the Serpent is instant CA standby, but there's a lot of like riders on this thing. Number one, you can only use it in case of cancelable omen, and since so many cancelable omens say the words CA this many times or this much CA damage, then that's handy. It
Yep.
happens when you want it.
6-turn cooldown, not bad.
Yeah,
And you get CA reactivate.
once you have Yashiori 8, which hey, getting CA builds your Faded Chain, which builds your Yashiori.
Yep.
So
You get 2 for Fatal Chaining.
yeah, it's
You
another
you get like yeah, it's so good.
it's a positive loop. And then Sanctifying Kagura is the one that I'm a little less glowing on, but it's still fine. So it's all allies get multi attack. When you have 5 Yashiori, they also get elemental attack. And then when you have 8 Yashiori, they get bonus elemental damage. This one is for the hit count omens, basically.
Yep, because it's 100% DA, 50% TA. You want hit count, you get if you're at 8, you get that chaser to help you get those hit counts. And once again 6-turn cooldown, not bad. 3 turns last, by the way.
Yeah. And so the whole thing is that these three are specialized for very specific kinds of holes in your team comp for um, beating omens. Because it's like Amino Totsuka is 4 debuffs when you have Yashiori 8. Not and then because if you activate a Faded Chain that same turn, it's 5 debuffs. And so what happens a lot when a multi debuff omens show up on your Yamato, you hit skill 1, you're like, all right, now I hit Miserable Mist. That's another 2. All right, rest of the team, you got to take care of the rest of this. And so having a button that's worth 4 of them is very good. Breath of the Serpent takes care of CA omens, and Sanctifying Kagura helps against hit count omens. Really good.
Yep, I like it.
Yeah,
It does what you need it to do.
and you're not nearly as reliant on just like hitting C Splitter exactly once, right? It's like if you want to free yourself of just um, having a button that can only be used once in a fight at all, then you can take one of these three. So I like that a lot. Um, I am a big fan of Yamato, and I will continue to be a big fan of Yamato after this.
I'd still probably gonna take I keep White Hail Gus because building the phase change just helps so much, and you get
That's
meter based on your Yashiori, and it's on a
that's
6 turn cooldown.
that's fair. But so are you replacing C Splitter then with one of these,
Oh yeah,
depending on the fight? Yeah, that makes sense.
because most of the time I'm able to break most of the opens.
Yeah. The in Hexa basically we use C splitters like okay, we just don't we just want to take care of these 15 hits as fast as possible of 2 million. It's like, eh, I would like to keep playing the fight now. Thank you.
A lot. They've been adding more things for elements to be able to hit those a lot easier now too.
Exactly.
With skill one up by the way, but the
Hmm.
skill one's like up a lot of the time. It's 5 turns.
All right. And last but definitely not least, Masquerade. Before Mana Diver came around, Masquerade was actually one of the best MC damage classes, and it's back. it's so Masquerade. Just as a reminder for those who don't remember, um, where is it? So 2 to Tango is a super long cooldown, but also a super powerful ability that just says you get double strike for how many turns? 4? Let me see here. I wish that I could check the tooltip. Let me just go over into another window and look. 2 to Tango. Oh, the 2 to Tango's from Dancer. That's why it's not listed. 2 to Tango is 4 turns of double strike, basically.
Yep, that's really good.
Yeah. So anyway, so also Bounce Shas was very strong. Um, yeah. Anyway, uh, what we have now. So on the Waltz is one of the possible options. It's a 3 turn buff to yourself with a 7 turn cooldown, and it asks for the following things: Is your CA meter higher than 50 at the end of the turn? If so, eat 30%. Give everybody 3 Promenade, which is worth multi attack, and they get both elemental attack and damage cap up.
Yeah, it stacks 10% elemental attack, 2% damage cap, up to 50% elemental attack, and 10% damage cap.
But the 3 Promenade to everybody at the end of turn also gets you to, um, what is it called again? Bounce Chas? The one that gives everybody double strike?
Bounce ass, yeah.
Yeah. Everybody triple attacks with double strike, yeah. And so this button is super powerful, but waiting for everybody to get to 10 Promenade sometimes took forever. This, you know, just changes that. It's, uh, your Manatura just lets everybody dance. That's what it is.
Yeah,
Uh,
and the nice thing is that this happens at the end of turn, so it sets you up really well for if you built the meter earlier.
mhm. And since it's a temporary thing, you also get to CA with your dagger. All right. So next up, we have Spiral Turn. It's 6 hits of randomly targeted nuke. It is an AoE dispel and minus special attack damage special. When
And
your
the magic thing,
when your MC triple attacks, this gets a 1 turn cut, and when you have a promenade of 7 or higher, then this thing happens twice, which would be 12 hits. Um, if you hit 2 to Tango and you are double striking for 4 turns, then you get this cut by 2 turns, and so it goes from 6 turn cooldown to 3 turn cooldown, and then it goes from 3 turn cooldown to 0 turn cooldown, and you hit it
you
again,
hit again.
and
Also, because you've been triple attacking during this, your promenade stocks went up.
mhm, yeah, a pretty strong option. And then
Uh,
here's, go ahead.
yeah, despelling is already good.
Hmm.
The 6 hits of nuke, really good. And it's on a 6 turn cooldown. It's already good by itself.
Hmm.
We just
Uh,
made it better.
yeah. Then the last one is martial choreography, which is also very strong. So you have a lot of choices here. Martial choreography. So 7 turn cooldown, 3 turn uptime. You cannot charge attack while it's there.
Which, you already had something that made it so you couldn't see it in the first place.
Yeah. Um, you get 30% attack up, which is
On perpetuity mod.
yeah. So the strong one. You always triple attack. You
And
get
it's about spiral turn.
you get supplemental normal damage.
30k.
Yeah. And then whenever you have your masked ball activate, which is your passive that says whenever your allies have dealt 30 more hits to a target in a turn, then you also get a nuke and you get assassin.
One time assassin, 30%.
And so since this happens for 3 turns, you can give your MC 3 turns of assassin off of this thing. Um, so yeah, Masquerade is very strong should you want to have a different take on the dagger MC doing a lot of damage and helping other people deal more damage as well. Anything else to say about it, or is that pretty much?
It's good.
Yeah, it's very good.
And it makes me wish I could put three class skills on, but
Right? These are very good ones. Like, well, I guess I take off 2 to tango some because of the cooldown thing? Question mark. But anyway, um, yeah. So a very good set of ultimate masteries, except the one that makes us bitter at the beginning of just like, could you have saved Spear Cavalier? And the answer is no,
nah, no.
no. Oh well. Um, let's see here. So the last part of this is going to be just a look ahead at February. So we have February 6th maintenance coming. According to Choreogra, the only thing we really know is coming on that February 6th is that Europa is going to get her uncap, like the character Europa, the grand version. I don't think anything else that they announced in Choreogra is for February 6th. So we'll see what happens here.
Maybe they'll lower the cooldown on skill 2.
uh,
Because, 12 turns is
a
very
very
long.
long time, yeah.
And
Um,
that ends upon, taking damage, and there's no way to cheat this.
but with Choreogra stuff, we do want to point out, like, a lot of this is minor because we're saving up a lot of time for and energy for the anniversary. It's like the Tower of Babel is here. It's the same thing as always, but with different fights and a refreshed set of rewards. Like, yeah, okay. Um,
Hey, one of those is supposed to be sand.
and yeah, that's true. That's true. Sand is something that is important to make sure that you do and get should you be a sand chaser, and a lot of people are, especially with the anniversary coming up, where they announce like, "Hey, we are giving you 3 months of notice on something that will need sand." Um,
Look, I need them to make treasure hunting Mirian.
yeah.
Thank you.
uh,
I watched that episode.
oh, is that what she said?
Yeah, when she's where she's going sand hunting.
Oh, that one. That's right. That's right. For Granblue TV channel. I thought you were talking about one of the other Takagi Miyu episodes. She puts out a lot of GBF content. It's what happens when you have a weekly show for how many years now that they've been doing this?
It's monthly, but
What?
Ishin
Oh,
and
Ishini
Granblue.
Granblue? Is it monthly? I thought it was weekly for some
Yeah,
reason.
it's been weekly. It's been monthly for a while.
Oh, okay. That explains things. Anyway, so it's like, yeah, Dread Barrage, they're just doing quality of life things. It's like, hey, because of the need for Lapis Merits, they already announced, like, yeah, Lapis Merit will be available here, and we're gonna give you more badges. Like, that's nice, thank you. Um, like exos are something that are now standard. We'll talk about exo when it actually comes out on the
Which
20th.
which is the element that comes out?
Koro is next, so light is the next exo.
I would like a really cool main hand.
I'm trying
That's
to.
not a dagger. Please
I'm
don't be
ho-
a dagger.
I'm hoping for a staff personally. I think. A cool staff would be
Are you
nice.
are you saying Combatant's not cool?
I don't have a main hand Gonvantane,
Yeah, I
so
don't either because Combatant sucks as a weapon.
yeah. So it's like I don't actually know what it does anymore. We have gun pretty covered. Sword is covered forever. Uh,
Don't give me an axe.
Katana is actually pretty set thanks to Symmetria. This is actually a very strong Katana main hand. It is
Yeah,
Katana,
Drain's
right?
pretty
Yeah, it
good.
is. Drain and shield.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Katana, quote unquote.
Look.
Like that one Siete weapon is an axe.
Yeah, harp is pretty well taken care of, even if you don't have a harmonia, because you've got the militus one over here.
We can replace Lance. We can replace Lance.
Spear, yeah, that's true. Rongo,
Yeah,
yeah, Rongo had its
yeah.
time.
Yeah, it's time. The problem is that it is now actively not good in my grid.
Ah, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, because it's light cap. Is it a skill cap or is it skill sup?
It's, it's skill cap,
Oh, okay. And it
and
interferes with yeah.
I already have my Opus in my stuff already doing that globally.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, um, we have our hopes. I'm hoping, I'm I'm hoping staff. I think that's where I'm
I think
resting
staff is
mine.
the best option.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, once Lucy comes out on the 22nd or 21st, it's the 21st. We'll talk about it. Not until then. The thing that we should talk about is remember we complained about the Agastia changes that they didn't do enough.
Yeah,
So they're doing a rebalance on multiple raids coming up on the 13th. Um, One of them is to Agastia, and so they're making two changes to Agastia. Number one of them is to reduce the amount that the damage mitigation shield reduces on turn one, which is important for people like me who play without a huge amount of skill supplement. And so, things that we do that would normally break an Omen don't because they deal zero damage.
and zero means you didn't actually hit
Yeah,
in a lot of cases.
yeah. So that's changing. That's really good for, people on my level.
Yeah,
Um,
if you have a Cosmos.
uh, Even without a Cosmos, like just three elements, like, um, it was not easy to get a third element to deal damage with. It's like, you have a summon, you have your some like actual thing that does its own damage. It's like, does Bahamut do your main character's element of
Main character
damage?
damage.
Yeah, but it's like,
You bring fire.
yeah,
That skill
the
fire,
skill fire, yeah.
which
And
you already mitigated.
then the other one is that they are adjusting the omen requirements for a bunch of them again. So good.
Yeah, you know what? 30 hits still kind of annoying for me.
Well, 30 hits is impossible was impossible for me because I couldn't deal damage. I kept hitting zeros. It's like, yeah. Anyway, that one was impossible for me even if I had like all of my stuff up. I had to have broken the shield already to even think about it. Maybe this time I'll actually be able to think about breaking it if I use a bunch of buttons.
I play the super safe team. I don't play the turbo team, so I die from people turboing.
I don't even play the turbo team. I just play a normal team. It's just that like um well, I still play rabbit when I can. Because well, it's a really strong option. It's just that, rabbit does zero damage and doesn't get hits. It's just for debuff. Mostly the rabbit thing for me is for debuffs. But anyway, um yeah, I will be glad when they continue to nerf this thing. It is an annoying fight, and I hope it gets better.
My favorite part is like people caring about the turbo options. Is like people don't join this raid.
Yeah, I
The turbo options are not the thing you have to worry about.
I would like to be able to play this raid and not just die as soon as I join.
Speaking of dying as you join,
Yeah, so here's the Dark Rapture. They're changing the Dark Rapture hard. The Dark Rapture hard specifically is going to increase the number on countdown uh, to, before you just get everybody hit by the end.
you mean you didn't like it when someone punted and had the wrong team and died to the incoming while his clocks were up?
God.
Hey, -4.
Like, the thing is that because we are all, not all, a lot of us at our level are hunting Tears of the Apocalypse, and you get like 1 to 3 every raid, then there's a lot of uh, Dark Rapture hards that I've been joining, and this very much has the highest failure rate still. Like years after it was implemented, it still has the highest failure rate of any of these raids.
Yeah, Belial is the you hope that people are if they do join,
Ar-
is the opposite element of you.
yeah, um, that's why like our boy who is Earth. Like I joined with him and I'm like, oh, good, we are immune to this, as opposed to like when you pub and pray, where it's like, all right,
And a billion fires come in.
fire or light or water. Sometimes there was, sometimes you get that
I,
12 and a half
I've
percent.
actually seen more dark light at my end.
Oh yeah, I see a lot of. I think it might be a function of which raid grouping we're in, because I see a lot of light. But anyway,
Yeah,
uh,
once under the shield was four fires and two darks, and like, well, guess we lose.
yeah. So, I think I've only hit that one once or twice in the time that I've been hitting the Fallen Angel's Cunning to get the Cunning Devil Horns. Speaking of Belial, they're also making Belial a little bit easier. But so Belial's thing is that when one person hits the end, the anagenesis
That wipes the raid after 50%.
that used to wipe the raid after 50%. Now it just wipes you.
Good.
Yeah.
I hated when that one dude punted and we didn't get the 5%.
hmm Um, and then speaking of punting, Long Live the King is also having its lose condition reduced, which is basically when someone hits 50% and then some of their characters just murder themselves against it. Um, Now they are taking away a big part of what. Actually, yeah, they're taking away both the heal and the debuff removal on a character getting KO'd, because like when you see Long Live the King and then 50% hits and he puts up Langolin Field, and then you see him heal for like 20% and all of your debuffs are gone, you're like, okay, all right, well,
Yeah, the only thing that actually annoys me in that fight is the 50% itself. And
mhm,
it's usually because of the repel.
yeah,
But it's funny watching people just stall there, not being able to do anything because no one brought their D spells or their D spells aren't up in time.
right, all right, so
I go off with it without any other debuffs other than my own. I have locals.
I need to have time to actually put up my locals, since I have Halmal as my designated 50% dispel character.
Oh yeah, I just turned off skill 3.
That's fair.
The question is, did you hit skill get to 50% or did someone else get to 50%?
hmm
Because if you get to 50%, you automatically dispel the stuff because it has like the 5+ buffs. If someone else did, that means you have to block, and if you're on full auto, you're not blocking.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, that those are the ones, and then also the solo versions of specifically Beelzebub and Belial are getting easier. In order to basically let people unlock these fights a little bit more easily. Beelzebub's change is the exact same change that he gets in his raid version, which is that when you lose a character, he no longer is going to heal and remove a bunch of debuffs. The removing a bunch of debuffs on this guy is actually really painful. That guy kicks the crap out of you
Yeah,
when he's not debuffed. And then Fallen Angel Cunning is actually a very, very significant change in the solo version. Um, the amount of plane damage that you take from him is going to be reduced. So probably the penalty for hitting delay is going to be reduced. Possibly I don't remember if the solo version also deals plane damage to you after there's 50%
It's
phase
been
change.
forever since last did that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It just says certain amounts of things that he does that are plane damage will be reduced in damage as the patch note. The other thing is also big. He will no longer randomly debuff people by hitting them, which if you remember what it was like to try and unlock this thing, if you got your certain characters skill sealed at random, you just rolled your eyes and you went, "Oh God,
It's this guy.
this this jerk right here." So they're taking that away. Good.
Good.
All right. That's basically what I wanted to talk about. That is coming up. The rest of this we can wait until it actually comes out when the 13th and the 21st. Um, although I'm just saying, uh, they mentioned this at Granblue Fantasy Fest in December, um, and I am glad that they are implementing it. The whole thing where reducing Revan's weapons will give you Revan's materials. So now, while we're hunting for the 200 to 600 um, like extinction rocks or whatever this thing's called, um, then the many weapon drops that you get will no longer be annoying.
A sadness.
They will be, hey, this is another. This is as if a treasure chest dropped 20 of them instead of 10. That's awesome. Thank you. It was a change that made sense. It is a change that's time has come, and I'm glad it's here. All right. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
So yeah, I'm gonna go back to Relink, DJ.
I am too.
All right. Glad to see it. Everybody enjoy Relink. I hope that the those of you who have PC issues get through them quickly. Um, I know a couple of people who are having issues, and the other people are just like, "Yeah, I'm playing fine." I don't know what the difference is, and I'm
It's
glad
called
that
PCs.
yeah, I'm glad that I don't have to test this because I'm glad that that it works on my PS5. That's what I'm glad for.
Thank you.
Thanks everybody, and good night.
Later.
Later.